Hello guys, welcome to another video. This is the all new Yamaha FZs 2021. So let's ride it and see what's the difference that it has from the previous BS6 model. So first gear, let's start the bike. And you can see the performance is pretty good. It can easily cross the 70 mark within few seconds itself. So this engine is a 149cc fuel injected air cooled motor that makes 12.4 PS of power and 13.3 Nm of peak torque. Now the power output is a bit low compared to the competition, but what Yamaha the FZ excels is in its mid-range performance. The low end and the mid-range performance is really good, and as you can see guys, it really pulls above the 5,500 RPM, and it doesn't have any kind of vibrations at all. So it's buttery smooth. The engine is very much responsive and it is very much lively at this around 5,500 RPM mark, and at this RPM mark itself you're getting that 13.3 Nm of peak torque. So it has some excellent mid-range, but it lacks the top end a bit. So you can see that it is performing really good. The throttle response is quite smooth. The gear shifts are brisk. Each and every gear you can actually feel the shifts, and the clutch action is really light. So it will be really useful in traffic. And you can see guys, it can go over 86. You can easily do some 100 kmph on this particular vehicle, and it will have no problem at all in the fifth gear. It gets a 10-liter fuel tank, and you can expect somewhere around 45 to 46 kmpl. So that's pretty decent number for 150cc bike. So this bike also gets a 41 mm telescopic fork suspension at front, and the suspension is really good. It is a bit on the harder side, so the moment you have a pillion with you, then it becomes a bit more softer. So the front suspension is on a harder side, but the rear one is slightly bit on the softer side. The rear suspension is of course adjustable, so you can adjust it according to yourself. That's a plus. And you can see guys, it is able to handle most of the dings, potholes, and the speed breakers and all. So there is no problem in such. And the FZ has been no nonsense performance since the start itself, and it gets single channel ABS. So the front disc is a 282 mm and rear one is a 220 mm disc. The braking performance is pretty decent, and the brakes are always been good from the house of Yamaha, so there is no complaints there. But one thing I have been noticing, that the rear view mirrors are kind of on the smaller side, so you will have slight problems in looking who is coming from the behind. Now this track is completely off-road. Let's do some off-roading on this bike and see how the suspension is. And I'm also carrying a pillion, so it will give you an accurate measurement that how it will handle most of the Indian roads. So it is handling this road pretty fine. And one more thing, that it gets a radial tire at rear. It's a 140 section radial tire, so it has good grip at the rear, and at front you have a 100 section tire. It's pretty fat. Now in this new FZ 2021 you are getting new colors and there is also a weight reduction. So at the first BS6 bike was weighted at 137 kilos. Now this weights 135 kilos, so there is 2 kilo reduction, which means the power to weight ratio is different from before, and it is much more livelier than before. Very good performance, guys. No nonsense performance. You can easily do some great cornering with this bike. The handling has improved because of the weight reduction. And yes, this is mated to 5-speed gearbox. So the gearbox is pretty sweet and it does its work pretty well. This road is not at all good, but still the bike holds its ground. And it does perform really well, guys. So this bike is priced at 1,35,000, which is 5,000 to 6,000 rupees more than the previous BS6 version. And about the performance improvements, because of the weight reduction, you can expect a slight bump in performance, although the figures are the same, so there is no change in the figures, but the performance has a little bit of improvement just because of the weight. So if you like this review, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Let's meet in another video.